When you're ready.
This is gonna be interesting. I am like this. Are you afraid? Go. All right, hi everybody. So welcome, hey. Welcome to what's going on with Miraculous Ladybug, because what even is the show?
I don't even know.
This is a panel that I like to host where I just like, you know what? I see so much discourse about this series, so this is a safe space for Miraculous fans where we can just scream about the show for like a good hour. So usually how I start this off is that I just kind of like ask y'all some general questions, and then it's like a good like ping pong session, like, okay, ask me a question and I'll tell you how I feel about it, all related to the show. All I ask is that we just be very respectful of other people's opinions, because I notice when it comes to this show, a lot of people like dislike certain characters more than others, and we being cool here, we're being cordial. Because remember, like, everybody in the show that did something messed up, so everybody can get dragged. So yeah, so by show of hands, who is all caught up on season 5? Okay, so who has seen the leaks? Okay, now who's very kind of like now, like after all of that? Yeah, me. I'm like, I like low-key kind of at the point where I looked up. No, it ruined my Christmas, because that was the day all it was like Christmas and then New Year's, because my friends was like, hey, something's happening, I think you're going to be mad about it. So I'm not going to say that for the sake of like a lot of people in here just not knowing. I'm just a little disappointed when it comes to the series, because it's a show I've been watching since I was in high school. And just seeing how, like, you know how you want something to just keep getting back to get better. It's like having like a friend that just keeps cutting up, and you keep telling them, hey sis, like, can you do better? And they be like, okay, I will, and then they just don't. That's just kind of how I am with this show, and it's like so many people are just kind of like, we want it to be better, but then it doesn't, and then they do something where we think it's gonna get better, and then they do something that's just a complete wreck. Because there's one point that I mentioned in like my most recent video, just talking about bad writing, because this show is infamous for that, where I was talking about how at the end of season 3, I was not really a fan of like Master Fu losing his memory, and then putting all of that. He literally like passed like generational trauma onto Marinette. And the reason why I didn't like it is because it just felt like a cheap and lazy tactic to progress the story, which this show does a lot. Because like, Master Fu was the last person who would hurt Marinette like that. So I was like, for him to just do that to her, it just wasn't sitting well with me.
How is Master Fu passing on generational trauma to Marinette when they're not even related?
Yeah.
I mean, come on now.
Like I have my sympathies for Master Fu, because his like family like forced him into guardianship. He didn't sign up for that. And then, you know, he just passed that on to someone else, and now he's just living freely with that lady, and she's just over here crying. So, yes.
Honestly, I just can't wait to see how the show's going to bypass Marinette having to lose her memories when she passes on the guardianship, because we all know it's not going to happen.
Yeah.
That's the thing. It's just like the writing for this show. That's just kind of why a lot of people were asking me, like, how do I feel about the Awakening movie? And I just say I don't care, because first of all, it's basically retelling the story. And okay, if that makes you happy, whatever. But I was just like, this is Miraculous we're talking about. Do you actually think it's gonna be told better? It looks nice, it looks cute, I'll give it that, but
Question.
Yeah.
Is anyone else worried about the fact that Marinette, if you switch her hair with like a blonde wig, she could be Rapunzel?
I never thought about that.
Really
Wait a minute.
No, let's talk about it. Let's talk about it. Okay, because I got dragged for this, actually. I actually got dragged for this, too, because I said something. I do talk a bit. Pipe down, please. I did talk a little bit about this on my channel, where like I was not trying to like be disrespectful towards mixed people or anything like that. But I said it's so frustrating how this show likes to push out, oh, Marinette's half Chinese, this, that, and that. But I was like, if y'all wanted to do that, y'all should have made her more visibly Chinese. Because that's like the complaint that a lot of people had when we were saying we wish she favored more of her Asian side than the white side. And yes, we agree. We do know that half white, half Asian people do exist, and they do favor like the Asian side. But so much of that, we have so much of that representation already. And it's just kind of like, you know how the film industry is with colorism, diversity, and featureism and all that. It's a mess. So, anybody else have anything to say? Yes, Jayla.
When I saw the trailer, I just have to say, I got so mad. I was like, this is not a retelling. This is not a retelling. You're joking! I was like,
I don't know how I feel about that.
why would they even do that? Like, why would you even, why did they go, you know what would be a really good idea? If we retold the story that we started years and years ago, put on hiatus.
Yeah.
And then kept going like nothing happened.
No, because honestly, the production for the Awakening movie was like in like production hell for so long. Like it was not moving, and then out of nowhere this year, they're like, oh, it's actually coming out now and it's gonna be on Netflix. And I'm just like, I never cared from the beginning, and seeing that it's finally coming, I'm gonna just skip to Natalie scenes and then just turn it off. So, oh yeah, you guys don't know. She's my favorite character.
She is. She's the best character, but she gets
So you
so
get
much
it.
shit.
So you get it.
She goes through so much shit.
Yeah.
You're such a actor.
Natalie deserves better.
She's too good for him.
She is. No, she's too good for him. Like, I shipped them, but she's too good for him. I'll go ahead and say that. It's just really telling to me when it comes to this series that, you know how people write fan fiction for something because they appreciate it and they like want more of the story with certain characters?
Yeah. A question.
People write fan fiction for this show to like fix what they messed up.
I am in that camp.
To be honest, personally,
Yeah.
season 3, it didn't even feel like the writing is good enough for fanfiction.
Why do we keep giving this show attention?
Fix it things. That's all I see is people trying to fix the story rather than trying to appreciate it because they're not doing anything with it now. It just feels like watching Riverdale, but it's
Okay, this is like something I say. I was like, the production of Miraculous overall reminds me so much of Euphoria. Like, I made an entire video where I was like, Thomas Ashbrook and Sam Levinson are like the same person. It's
same person, different fonts.
Yeah. Yes.
One thing I don't like one thing that like really kind of got to me about the show was their depiction of Chloe Bourgeois. Like I can totally understand the bully character. I can totally understand like, you know, it's important to have a hate sink every so often. But the way that they treat Chloe with like no redeemable qualities, they treat her with like literally no respect. They make her racist all of a sudden.
Oh, she was racist at the beginning.
Yeah, kung fu. Kung fu.
I believe it's just we have one back there.
Who's next? Okay, we got you next. What were you saying? But like my opinions with Chloe, mine too. I felt like that's never really liked Chloe, but for the most part. But the issues that I see with her character are issues that I see with a lot of the female characters with this show. They're not written well.
Yeah,
they're not.
Tell me about it.
Okay.
I think the thing with Chloe is like very funny because first of all, they were getting to her development and Thomas Ashbrook was not working on that season until the end of it when they took it all away.
That's the problem with this show. It's so inconsistent.
Yes.
It's inconsistent. Because I was like, wait a minute. This wasn't making sense. Yes.
I think the thing with Chloe is really unique because they gave her like a lot of reasons to be the way that she was and like her horrible mother.
Yeah.
Was, like a really good reason and she was like starting to become a better person. And they had so much good build up for her and it got tanked.
And the thing, I want to talk a little bit about Zoe. Mind you, I like Zoe, but it's kind of frustrating seeing y'all did all that to get rid of Chloe and y'all barely use her.
Yes.
Like Zoe barely there. We see Jules no more than we see Zoe.
This is exactly what I've been saying.
She barely says a word.
Okay, right here.
And I just think it's even
so much merchandise with Chloe still in it, or pushing new merchandise with Chloe. Chloe's gone. We don't care
We
about
tired of Chloe. Like, the thing is, like, Chloe has, okay, let me tell you, because even though the people, they don't know how to make a show, but they know how to sell you something. They know a lot of people like Chloe, so they're going to, like, keep making stuff for her.
Just.
We had one in the front and then one over there. So.
Okay. Who was over here? Did you want to go ahead?
Hi. I also want to mention, like, in the comics of Miraculous Ladybug, I'm not sure if this was like a fan-made comic or if it was like the OG comic. All I saw was a TikTok about the OG comic. They were really racist against black people.
Let's talk about it.
Oh my God!
Oh! Do we really have to bring this up?
Honestly, y'all need to watch my channel. Cause that's why like so many people kind of like found my videos, because I was like the first person that actually talked about how this show does a terrible job when it comes to race, and it's concerning. Because I mentioned that comic, and they were like, oh, it's because they didn't know no better. And I was like, I'm just kind of tired of people using that excuse, because sometimes they just don't know no better, but it's up to them to do better. Because if you don't know what the comic was, it basically was, okay, but it's gonna get kind of weird. So, Marinette was like in this box, and then she's like approached by these like a group of like black men. They were talking like in heavy AAV that wasn't used correctly.
I think she was more like she ran into them.
Yeah, she ran into them, but a lot of like black people were like, hey, that's offensive, don't do that. But I was like, y'all saying this show has an ongoing history of doing things like this, because first of all, the writer's room is white AF. There's so many people of color within this series, and it's just like, I made like a video talking about this show Rainbow High and how it has issues with its diversity. So many of those issues overlap with Miraculous too, and it's because this show just relies on tired tropes and stereotypes when it comes to writing their characters of color. And by the way,
Looking at you, Kagami.
Wait, Dragon Lady. Yeah, but I studied race in college, so that's kind of like how I know about all this, and I'm able to like pick it out and everything like that. So you guys were wondering how I was able to see these issues. That's why. What were you saying, Kagami?
I was saying Kagami is just unfortunately written as a dragon lady trope, which is alarming considering she's like a middle schooler / high schooler. The way Kagami's character was handled at the very beginning was very strange and upsetting. I love Kagami. I'm just like, she deserves so much better.
And honestly, like, cause I had brought this up the other day, cause a lot of people have been speculating that like Natalie is like raging to like Marinette, but she mirrors her character a lot. And I was like, this show's not ever confirming her race, because they know they made her a dragon lady too, just in a different form. Like,
oh, we have 2.
I wish instead of showing us snippets of their adult selves, they would move the story along so we can actually get to that.
We've been stuck in 2015 for like 7 years at this point. Fashion shows.
Apparently, like canonically, it's only been 9 months.
9 months?
Yes, Shayla.
Okay, that actually makes it so much worse, because I was about to say, like, when you brought up Kagami, so when I was watching it originally, like the characters being like silly never really bothered me. Yeah. But the more that I watch, I'm like, this is insane. Why are they acting like that? What is going on here? Because it's like they go from having like common sense, like when we first meet them, and it's like, I lost it with my Miraculous. Sorry.
Okay, I have mentioned this, like, I said that this show has so many parallels to Euphoria, because, okay, have any of you guys seen Euphoria? Raise your hand. Yeah. Okay, so you know at the end, if you ain't seen it, you ain't seen it. If at the end of season 2 where Ashtray just shut up the place, that's honestly, because it was like, why would he do that? Because we understand how young he was, but he wouldn't know. That's honestly what the show does. It just has characters act out of character so randomly. It's so weird. And it's just like, okay. So anybody in the back have a question? I just want to make sure we didn't skip over anyone. So
I do like to say, whoever said that the show was stuck in 2015, I feel like The fashion has been stuck in 2015. I know those clothes must be stank because they haven't changed them.
No, for this show to be a show that is about fashion and it revolves around the fashion world, I made a whole hour-long video just basically explaining why this was a problem. I'll be over here promoting my channel this whole time. But I said it makes no sense because I made her do a gay that photo shoot with me yesterday. But I was like, it makes no sense for this show to be like about fashion and the fashion world and industry, but y'all don't have basic understanding of much of anything because it's even down to like the photo shoot scene. Where we have the photo shoot scene, there's nobody there. And mind you, like, these are like minors on set. You have to have a parent on set with you. That was not there. So they just don't understand anything.
We had one over here and then two over here.
What was the one over here?
Over there.
Go ahead.
The only person to get a fit change is Gabriel.
No.
And it's
not even.
and it's all white.
That might be designing some of the best clothes this side of France. But
Yeah,
he's the only person
No,
to get a fit
let
change.
me tell you, when I made her dress up as Gabriel yesterday for me to be Natalie, she was just like, this outfit's hideous. I was like, it is.
I don't, when she
The
wore
red
those
pants.
red pants, I was like,
The red pants.
So original fit Gabriel. We're not talking about now Gabriel.
Now Gabriel.
It's all white.
So like with Merida, I feel like they did her so dirty. She used to be like this like fun little teenager or whatever, and like everything. Now she's just so catty and whatever, and it's all for plot-driven like issues, and it makes me so mad.
Honestly, it's because this show, I said, okay, y'all know how people be talking about One Piece don't get good to the 50th episode? But basically, it's like Miraculous is a show where that happens until like the 80th episode. A lot of like, you know, like Marinette being like very angsty and whatnot, I feel like it has to do with them just being so slow with the development because we saw her as all happy-go-lucky for so long. And then it just like snapped. So I was like, well, maybe you had it there in season 2 when we needed it. We may feel differently, so.
Again, it was like we were talking just now. There is the seasons have gone on for so long, but
End already.
this first season started when school started, and they are just now wrapping up the school year. And like you said, there is no fashion going on. There is no clothing change. The latest season, you see random snippets of when she was in her previous year, of her hair down, but that's about the extent of it. It's just like, can we change it up a little bit, please?
It's just like with the fashion aspect of this series. I got you next. It just makes me think of how this show just doesn't do their research on a lot of things. Even down to like, you wanted to make a show about fashion, you should have done more for that. But
it's giving Emily in Paris.
Emily. Okay, right here.
Another thing is just like for the first half of every season, I feel like it's random fluff or redos of old episodes. They're like 2.0, and then at the end of the season, we're like, let's rush all the character development right now.
I'm telling you, story mode too.
Panel team, just like for the.
I don't know today. How many times have we seen Pigeon Man?
Look, actually,
You know what? Todd Capricorn is getting that check.
actually,
Yes.
Also, I want to say, like, in the terms of relationship with Marinette and Adrian, how many times do we have to go through this? Like,
They should have.
Yes.
Honestly, I feel like season 2 was like, okay, things need to start moving along if you want this to be a story-driven show.
Can we just move it along to like, I don't know, a couple years past? Like, please. Like,
No, like, what?
remembering that they're middle schoolers still, it's like, wait.
What takes me out is that like if you actually look at how old they were when the show started, like the year it came out, they're supposed to be like 20 something now.
Yeah, they're older than our age.
Okay, right here in the back. Okay, I got something to say about that. Man, I can't say that in here right now. Okay, that's so like I said, I think this is best. But by the way, you guys, I have a table in the organization section of the exhibit hall. So you guys want to chat a little bit more after that? We can go there. Cause I got more to say about that situation. But honestly, it's just kind of clear what Luca's purpose in the story was. Yes. And that's just, okay, first of all, we had no mention of him in season 1. We didn't know nothing about Julika having a brother or nothing like that. And like, him and Kagami didn't come till season 2. So it's obvious that Luca and Kagami were just there. They were just like a foil. That's just kind of like
that was the word, yes. Yes.
Who? Yeah.
Also, I know I keep interrupting. I keep talking like over.
No, I'm enjoying it. Come on.
There are points in the story where Marinette goes from like a cute, innocent schoolgirl crush to insane, creepy stalker. In, like,
you want to know why? Because this show, they did not get women in the writer's room until later on. That's the problem. Because so many of the show's problems just come down to like who's in that writer's room.
Like that.
Yeah. And now that, no, because I even said something about how they added white women to the writer's room and it didn't change much, so.
Oh, God.
It's just like, I feel like part of the reason why that didn't change much though is because they already messed up so much in the series. So they're just like, yeah, how can we come back from this? That's why I was like, I have a feeling the show's never gonna get better because honestly, season 2, pretty solid. But season 3 messed so much up where it's just kind of hard to undo all of that happened. So yeah.
It's just the whiplash from Marinette like liking Adrian, then like stalking him, to in the most recent season just not caring about him. I'm like, my neck hurts from the total whiplash. It feels like this show goes so slow, and then when one thing changes, it's like, whoa!
No, like, you know when Natalie just came out the worst episode? It's not the worst, the second worst. Stormy Weather Super. She came out of nowhere and told us, the audience, that she was in love with Gabriel, and I was just like, you embarrassing yourself, girl. Yeah, I love her, but like, no.
Still better than Simple Man.
And then all the way in the back.
And then that love square thing just changing up, and like in the beginning it was like people, these two. Now it's just going crosshairs. Like, can we just get a solid answer, please?
Somebody.
Rose and Julika.
Oh yeah, we cosplayers though. But it's funny because one of my friends had sent me, and she doesn't watch the show. She sent me a picture of that love square, and she was like, "You need to explain this." So who was on your back?
So you said Natalie was your favorite character.
Yeah.
So tell me this: is she in love with Emily or Gabriel? That's a good question.
Oh.
Okay.
Oh, you really set her up now.
Everybody that knows me knows that I don't like that lady. Because there's so many pointers to, I'm very anti-Emily, first of all, but there's so many things about her that are weird and don't add up. And from what I saw with the leaks, it kind of confirmed everything I said about her that was true. But let's just get into like Natalie's character. Because in season 1, she was just like there. She was just there working in Gabriel's house, there being supportive of Adrian. She was just kind of there. Then in season 2, we find out that, oh, she's actually working with him doing this. Okay. But then you kind of catch on, okay, because I realized she was doing that because she wanted him to stop. And she knows Gabriel's not smart. Like, that's why he got her. That's why she's his right-hand woman. So, you know, after season 2, she literally risked her life for him, Aurora, Serve episode. One of my best cosplays. Let me not self-promote myself. But, okay, so we have that. Then we get to season 3. She tells the audience that she is in love with him. Ain't no mention, like, she was like, I see everything that he does for his family and everything like this. So, like, yeah, she's in love. Honestly, she take care of Adrian, he don't. But, so here we have that right there. So it's just like, okay, Natalie's in love with Gabriel. We got that. Gabe Nat is confirmed. Let me stop. Do y'all know what Gabe Nat is?
Yeah.
Gabriel and Natalie.
Kiwi, do you know what that is? Okay, so we have that. Now we get to season 4. We see that, okay, she do love this man. She's down bad, unfortunately. And she's just still helping him, but it got to the point where it's just like, she's like kind of getting weaker and weaker. It's actually really, really sad. So then we cut to season 5. We find out in that scene where she was like, it was basically revealed she does love Gabriel, but she was like, oh, but he picked Emily instead. So it's just, I can see like why people have this conclusion that she was like in love with both of them. But that's because like she was always around them. She lived with him. That is dangerous. Like I have so many issues with that. So it's like when it comes to like her being in love with both of them, honestly, it just is something where I kind of don't even know how. Because I know for sure she's in love with Gabriel, and I know she does love Emily. I don't know if it's romantic or platonic, but we know there's love there. She cares about her. It's just like, okay, there was no mention of like Emily at all, and we're 100-some episodes in now, and now you wanna, it's like I said, stuff's not adding up. But Natalie, in my opinion, it's just, I feel like they're like trying to do like more with her character and writing her more, but they're just kind of like digging themselves into a hole now, where it's just like, okay, things with her character aren't adding up because y'all told us she loved Gabriel. So yeah, and it's, no you didn't.
You pointed right at me when you said that.
I didn't point at you.
Like,
I'm sorry, like, yes.
Gabriel in general just feels like a watered down Fire Lord Ozai. If that makes sense.
Oh my gosh, he's boneless Ozai.
He's Chairman Rose from like Pokemon.
He is!
And Natalie is Oceana. That's the same shoe. That's the same shoe. It's the same.
like literally, they have the same voice actor, Chairman Rose and Gabriel.
Are you serious?
I'm not even kidding.
Show your face.
That's the same person. Yes, back there.
The scene that angers me the most in like the whole show is like I think it was at the beginning of season 5 when Gabriel had the time miraculous and he saw the like moment he gave Emily like the
that clip.
That made me so angry because why didn't he? That's like his one goal that he's had for the entire show, and he was just like, just reaching.
You wanna know what's so funny about that? You wanna know what's so funny? You wanna know what's so funny about that? It's because why did they make him a brunette when he's been blonde this whole time? Like, what was the point of changing his hair color? They changed his hair color in season 5. Oh, he's a natural brunette. He just went gray. I'm like, oh, he didn't. He was blonde before. Like,
I just figured it was
okay,
age.
who was next? Right here.
Sort of like Philip does it, down to like the Kwame powers. Why are some Kwame like super cool and others just like, hey, here's a copy of the original? Like, what was it? Hey, you can draw anything and make it come to life. Like, isn't that just the Ladybug power? Or like,
Oh, yeah.
Are you talking about the one that Daniel had?
The goat.
Yeah.
Yeah, it was Genesis.
like you can have any power that it was either any power that you need in the moment.
That sounds like my character.
Oh, yeah.
That work. Like,
That might just be like
the power, any power that he wants was the rooster. Just,
yeah. Right in the back.
It's upsetting about Miraculous that we don't get to see Marinette get akumatized, so she's had it multiple times.
Oh no, she was close in the new season, and then yeah, like she was close twice. Cause Natalie, I got her one time, and Natalie started choking. Stop. I feel like this show, like, kind of. I feel like because she's like the main character, I feel like this show kind of like goes out of their way to try to make her like a every girl, I say. And it's like we don't really like. So then when she breaks down, people get like, oh, why is she acting like that? I'm like, she's human. She's literally 14. Like,
Yeah, she's a child soldier.
yeah.
yeah, just they.
Okay,
Like,
who is next?
Where are the adult superheroes in France?
That is a wonderful question.
yes, yes,
Beefing with these middle schoolers.
yes. Like,
So America decided to use adults. Then we have France who was like, well, adults
I
and
do
children.
not like what they did to the New York heroes at all.
like I'm now wondering.
comic book characters, and they weren't even.
I do not like what they did to Olympia. I was so upset. Oh, gotcha.
So pretty much, Master Fu loved that man. Don't really know what made him think, you know what we really need right now? Children.
I
I
have.
think because he was like forced into guardianship at a young age, he was like, okay, so all kids have to do this. It's wrong.
Like, I now have to wonder if he really, like, he wanted that life. Like, or he wanted a normal life.
Yeah.
So why did he think it was a good idea to just force that, like, his already stressful life onto a teenager?
It's honestly messed up all around. It's actually really sad. Yes.
I think Power Ranger trope.
Recruit a bunch of kids with attitude. Kids with attitude to do the job that adults won't do because they can apparently think out the box.
I feel like Hawkmoth would explode if like a grown adult superhero confronted him. He'd be like, "I'm used to dealing with kids who should be studying for the PSAT. What are you doing here?"
No, like, why do you keep bothering Mr. Pigeon? It's obvious that you're not going to get it again, because this is like the 73rd time, sir.
Like,
it's the fact that he's using he's going against children and still losing.
That is so
yeah, like, and
Okay, who? One in the back, yes.
So, what gets me is that obviously they're all obviously like you could tell Adrian is Cat Noir. Like if he looked at one class picture of his son, he'd know that all of them are in his class.
This is like a trope that I've noticed when it comes to like the superhero genre in general, is that like, I feel like they make the characters look the same for like the audience to like understand that's the same person.
yes!
It gets annoying though. Yeah. They did find out eventually that like, it was Natalie actually who found out who some of them were in the class. If Kagami never snitched on herself, they wouldn't have found out.
We have 5 over here.
Okay, let's go in the back, because you didn't talk yet. Yeah.
Adding on to that, there was the one episode where they had like body doubles that made up to look how Ladybug and Cat Noir normally look. So it kind of makes sense that like, yeah, the Miraculous can change your appearance drastically, but at the same time, it's like, yeah, you could have looked at a class picture and regardless of people's like hair colors and heights, like that shit doesn't change.
I'm gonna be honest, I didn't know Julica was Julica. I didn't know that was her. Someone had to tell me that was Julica. I was like, oh, that's like the only design I could say where, okay, I can tell that might be somebody else. Rose, no, I can tell that was her right away. Who?
We have like 4 more over here.
Okay, yeah.
So we have Black Hat. Did you have a question in the Black Hat?
Yeah, I just want to say, I just need Gabriel to grab a black marker, look at a picture of his son, draw a mask on some
Wait a second! That's my son! He's also
like,
Okay, I need to talk about that because I remember Natalie had got like a whole bunch of like, man, I need to defend her, okay? But you know how in Cat Blanc, she basically was like, hey, she was the one that told Gabriel that Adrian was Cat Noir. And I was just like, that was a situation where it's just like, if she knew, she would have just had to, if she knew, she would have had to just keep that to herself. But also, it's just like, hey, Gabriel, you're fighting your son. I think you should know, and you will stop. But you know, I think that's the moment where we realized there was no saving this man. So.
Really quick to add on to that point,
Yeah.
In Cat Blanc, the first realization after finding out his son was Cat Noir, he was like, oh shit, I'm gonna trick him and steal his fucking ring.
We gotta keep it, we can't cuss.
Sorry, I'm gonna trick him and take the ring, right?
Yeah.
That was his first reaction, not, why am I doing this to my own son? But can we also talk about the fact that this man would rather let himself waste away than figure out what to do with his son being alone?
Yeah, it's weird because there's actually an episode in season 2 where he like suspected that Adrian was Cat Noir and he didn't want to hurt him. And then in season 3 it was a whole 180.
Yeah, I was just.
Okay, no, right here anyway.
I just think it's hilarious because that's in like in Cat Blanc or Cat Blanc. As soon as Gabriel finds out that Adrian's Cat Noir, he just like immediately, let me torture my son enough to akumatize him and then beat him all the way to the Eiffel Tower. And I'm like, dude, you realize that's your kid to save.
I can't stand it because in season 1 and 2, like that was he awful, but I'm like he wasn't like that messed up though. I was like,
Yes.
It's like Disney villain levels of like comically.
It's giving Ursula now, like at this point.
Yeah.
Like,
It's giving watered down Ursula.
okay. Oh, and this person that we're speaking. Yeah.
So there was an
episode where Adrian almost got akumatized, and Hawkmoth like stops. He talks to Adrian, gives him an alliance, just so he could akumatize him and give him.
I don't like how this show. Okay, I understand like he's a villain character, but it's just like they're just picking anything now at this point to make him a worse of a person. Cause they did that with Tomo too. Y'all know who Tomo is, right?
Kagami's mother.
Kagami's mother, yeah. Kagami.
Another stereotype that is.
Kagami's is crazy. She's insane.
Ooh, her mom?
Yes.
Oh god.
Like, oh my god, I was like,
the way she's
just a mother.
bothers me so much.
It does bother me because I'm like, how do we have like two different stereotypes of East Asian people? Like, we
That
have
are
the
harmful.
tiger mom and the dragon lady in one family. What is going on here? Why is Kagami wearing a school uniform to school when no one else does? What is happening?
Yes.
Actually, that's very common in Asian households.
Really?
Yeah.
Really?
Because the tiger mom trains her daughter to be the exact same way. So either she turns out as a tiger mom when she has a kid, or a dragon lady and turns out to be alone forever.
That is so sad. I'm so sorry.
Like, honestly, it's only generational trauma. You just gotta, like, break it sooner or later.
Yeah. It's kind of similar like that in black households too, unfortunately. So. Who had their hand up?
I also want to say, like, in the beginning, what makes me so mad about, like, the way they treated the characters in Miraculous was even, like, the worst shitty characters had...
Keep language. We gotta keep it PG.
Even the worst characters had shades of humanity. Like, even, like, the worst of the worst. The akumatized people were all, like, people who were feeling bad about themselves. But then they just kind of... Well, not just kind of. They completely changed it to... Oh, I had a bad day, so I'm gonna akumatize everybody, and oh, I am the designated bully character, or I am the designated bad character, so I'm going to be as awful as possible to everybody around me. And
I did that before, yeah.
Yeah, and like in the in the first seasons or so, like Gabriel, you know, he had a dead wife. He's not really close with his kid.
Yeah.
He's just like. It's understandable why he is the way he is, but then he just like devolves into, again, watered down Ozai. And it really makes me mad because there's so much you can do, and you're throwing it away because.
They can't write. Like, it's literally just all it comes down to.
Yeah.
That's in the back.
I mean, for me, I summarize all of Miraculous problems with this sentence is that they won't commit to the bit, whatever that is.
Yeah.
Like, Mira is dating Luca. No, we can't have that.
They dated for like 2 episodes.
It's like they set new status quos and then don't follow through with them. Or they pretend they're following through with them and the following episodes don't reinforce it. Like, it's these different concepts that would be interesting if you decide to like follow through with them.
It's not good writing. Like,
We had a few over here as well.
yeah, we're trying to get everyone to speak. Okay, right here? Yeah.
What is the purpose of those charms that she gives everyone at the end of the episode?
So they won't get akumatized?
But Mr. Pigeon has like a collection now.
I think Mr. Pigeon just needs therapy.
It's just the running gag at this point with that man.
So no, he only got one after number 72.
Yeah.
So he has one.
But you know, Gabriel ended up doing something so where it don't work no more.
Yes, the Mega Coup was breaking. So.
Yes.
Who didn't go yet that wants to speak? Like, we trying to make sure we judge everyone first. Anybody over here that didn't go that wants to speak? Yes, right here.
Did Hawkmoth walk off getting a cataclysm?
That's
Yeah.
Well, you guys how do I feel about that?
No, how did he walk it off? How did he just like act like
Cataclysm in the arm.
Like,
It's like he's like, wow, that
he's
guy-
wasting away.
This show, it's like I said, it kind of feels like this show wanted to shift in tone. Cause I was just like, if that happened in season 1, this wouldn't have been. He would have gone.
Yeah, it was like I thought Cataclysm was something like it's destroyed. Like, have y'all seen JoJo's Bizarre Adventure? Y'all know the hand. That's what I thought Cataclysm was like it's gone. Like once it gets Cataclysm, it's gone. Now they've kind of watered it down to like you'll be fine.
So, 2 things, yeah. The thing about the cat, yeah, he took it. Like, if this was season 1, he probably would have been afterwards like, you know what? I need to make sure I take it. Now he's obsessed with everything, so he's not really gonna fix it. He's just like, yeah, I got a crack on my hand, it's fine. But second thing, to mention the fact, the bully character. You guys realize he did use Chloe for like a good 2 seasons just to get people akumatized.
Oh no, the whole class, like half the class, Chloe is weird. I was gonna say that. She got the whole class akumatized, and Alex, mind you, I do not like Miss Bustier. I'm gonna just go ahead and say it. I don't like the teacher. I do not like her. I don't like Miss Madeline either. But I don't like the principal either. I'm gonna get to it in a minute. But I was just like, I did not appreciate how Miss Bustier was treating the class when they were all like, hey, Chloe's mean to us. Why aren't you doing anything about it? Like, not a good teacher. There.
I just want to play devil's advocate on the whole Gabriel getting
Classism? Yeah.
I just want to be fair. That was the first time we've seen anything organic be cataclysm, so it's not like we don't know.
And he was wearing a miraculous.
Let it cook. You gotta cook right there.
I think are they still doing the whole thing? This kind of spreading.
Yeah, listen, I looked at the leaks and I said, that's enough. I'll see y'all in season 6. So, but yeah, I saw like some pictures of it and I was just like, okay, you had your hand up over here, yes?
I don't know if you guys already talked about this, but I'm gonna ask anyways. Why
Yeah.
do you think that Marinette used to, or liking Kim in the past was a good idea?
Okay, I have so many opinions about that, and it's because, okay, this reminds me, I don't know if any of you guys saw my Miraculous panel when I was at AWA, but it basically just, okay. But basically, somebody in the audience basically asked me, how do you feel about the way the show writes its characters of color? And I felt that's just something that reminded me of what was going on with Kim, too. Because, like I said, this show doesn't really know how to write people of color well, especially like making them problematic in aspects like that. Kim, in my opinion, is a character that we saw like, yeah, he can be a bit much and like a little too playful sometimes, but he genuinely means good. I don't like how out of nowhere they just like, oh yeah, he used to bully Marinette. And I was just like, and it really hurt one of my friends who is of Southeast Asian descent like Kim is. And they were really talking about how that really hurt them because they really did enjoy Kim because that was the first time they ever really saw representation for someone like that in like a popular cartoon. And seeing how poorly they wrote his characters, they were hurt, so.
It goes to show that you can have diversity on screen, but if you don't have the same, like, behind the screen, it's not going to, like, you need those voices there on and off screen, or else it's not going to translate properly.
Yeah, the writing room, literally all the problems. Yeah.
Did we have anyone else?
Oh, yes, over here.
My sister and I were talking about how weird it is to bring in how traumatizing Marinette's bullying was all of a sudden when it wasn't that apparent in any of the other seasons.
Because the show, nothing moves till the 80th episode. That's why.
Exactly.
Nothing moves to the 80th episode. Yes.
I honestly feel like, I think that in Thomas's head, giving all this backstory and lore is like character development and is progressing the story. It is not.
It's not.
It's like you just keep on adding
it's
weird
literally
stuff.
the animation equivalent to Euphoria. Like, I'm not joking when I say that. Okay. Yes.
Do you think we're ever going to get like an awakening for Cat Noir like we did with Ladybug? Of like, oh hey, so she knows how to work her lucky charm now to do something where she gets a new outfit. Are we ever gonna have like a moment like that for Adrian, if he'll unlock a new power, or unlock a new suit, or unlock a new way to use his powers, or something? Anything for him?
I would say you're really right about that because for Cat Noir being like the second titular character, he goes through significantly less development in his powers than Marinette does. And if we're assuming they've been doing it at the same time, he has his water suit, we know that, but we haven't seen him unlock any other powers the way Marinette has. And I'm like, you're right, I've thought about that before. And I'm like, why? He has as much importance as she does.
So we got about like 9 more minutes now, so go ahead.
Okay, so I was actually thinking of this like literally just now.
Yeah.
So you know how Thomas Ostruck was like, yeah, I want Marinette to be like this feminist like icon, like I want to write the show for feminism. I don't think that's true. And like honestly, there's so many shows with like female main characters because like there's a shift in the early 2000s, that shift from boy main characters to girl main characters. So I don't know why he thought that he was gonna write this like feminist manifesto, because there have been girl main characters for so long who've done more, who've done better, who make more sense, and are well written. And so I don't know why he thought that he was doing something special. Like I literally think that he was like, you know what I want to do? I want to create a show, and I need all this extra backstory. I don't really want to elaborate on it, but I want it to be there for lore.
It's like Five Nights at Freddy's.
Okay, right. You had your head up, right?
I just wanted to say about the stuff with like Cat Noir not getting like as much like stuff as Ladybug in terms of like getting more powers. I guess you could say it's because the Ladybug is the most important Miraculous. However, that makes me very angry because in the box, the cat is like right there with the Ladybug. Yeah. And listen, Adrian is my meow meow. I love him. He's my personal best friend, and I need him to get more. I feel so bad for him.
Yeah. Also, since we're speaking about the Kwamis, Kathy been going through it this season. My poor girl. My poor girl.
To add on to that, I feel like they haven't unlocked everything about the cat records yet because it's.
I don't think they know.
Because it's so dangerous that they're too
they're
scared
never
to try
going
it out.
They're never going to
because
unlock it. Like until they turn 18.
When I tell you this show makes up as it goes on, it does. That's why.
But they're like a pair, so they're supposed to like kind of counteract each other.
Yeah, I don't think they like sat and thought about that, but also I don't think they expected this show to be this big of a success either. They did not.
I work at Disney and all the time. I have people asking me.
I am curious. I feel like in season 5 they've established that Lila has 3 mothers, and I don't really know what to do with that.
And the wig! And the wig!
You want to talk about where Lila is? So I actually posted an article about this on like my blog, but I said that there's just so much weird speculation when it comes to Lila's character, and I asked my friends because I was just like, she's creepy, like she's really creepy. Because I said something about how she didn't come to their school until Adrian got there. I was like, maybe she was an obsessed fan of Adrian, and that's how she ended up there, because she's like so obsessed with him and just does everything she can to like try to be with him to the point where she's talking to his dad. And I had even said something about like there's just so much weird things about Lila, like wig.
Yeah, the wig, that 44-inch lace front bust down wig she just threw in the trash.
I asked my friends, I was like, do y'all think Lila is not 15? And they said yes.
Yes.
The thought of that scares me, but it's just like, for a little 15-year-old to be that manipulative, to get her parents to move her to France for a boy,
like
the math not math is.
To have multiple parents, just.
Okay, get right here.
What you said about them not expecting it to get popular. Personally, I feel like everybody in that team didn't expect it to get popular. Astra did, but they ignored him because they thought he was weird.
It is
So
weird.
then, when it did happen, he's like, yeah, see my show, I did good, didn't I?
Yeah.
I'm just as good as everybody else when it comes to screenwriting. So now they're trying to catch up to his insanity that he had from the beginning. Because they didn't think he would get big, but he did. So now they're just kind of letting him run with it. That's what it really feels like.
I literally work at
He's
Disney.
Sam Levinson in a different font.
I have parents asking me all the time, where's the Miraculous stuff? Where's the Miraculous section? Is there like a Miraculous section anywhere in the theme parks? And I'm like, oh my gosh, y'all are expecting this to have like an attraction at Disney. I thought this was just a silly show.
I think they know now that an anime would have been a lot more successful.
Oh, it was supposed to be 2D originally, but they were like, we couldn't put enough spots on her costume. And
Those designs were kind of ugly. They're just a little hideous.
they kind of corny.
Yeah, I kind of like how Felix looks.
So we gonna go for about like 3 more minutes.
The shape of his head. I didn't like the
So we gonna go for about like 3 more minutes. So we gotta make it quick. Yes.
Yeah, but because they did in like CGI and 3D animation, that's also the reason why they don't have enough outfit changes.
Yeah.
It takes too much effort to make new ones. So they're just like, let's just have them have the exact same wardrobe like in the B movie.
I understand that animation is expensive, but they put so much of this show's budget to merchandise and not the art department. Like, please, can we need some help here? Because I ain't ever forget that police brutality episode where it just looked crunchy.
Oh,
It looked
Cheelin.
No, that was just disrespectful how crunchy it looked. I was like,
We got one in the back.
Well, one defense as to why it's not 2D is that actually the amount of spots on her, like no matter how many they put on, ended up accidentally creating a strobing effect. That probably because it was 2D animation, they couldn't line it up exactly. Or like the budget it would take and time it would take. That's why they tried to reduce the amount of spots, but then it was still creating this like weird effect.
Okay.
I don't know the exact science of it, but I know in interviews I've heard the reason why they moved to 3D because then they can have the spots exactly.
The more you know.
Thank you for explaining that. Yes.
I think something they could have done to avoid that would be like to change the design to have less.
Yeah, change the design.
Because like it's kind of boring just to be like jumpsuit with spots on it. I think they could have made it more interesting by like having just less red spots with like less spots with red dots. I mean,
Her
transformation's everything though.
It is.
Speak now, forever hold your peace.
Y'all good?
Got it all out.
So I'm just gonna say, just gonna like tell y'all who we are. And yeah, we have a table, the Harriana Hook table in the exhibit hall. It's organizations over there. My name is Harriana Hook. I am a cosplayer, I'm a YouTuber, I'm a writer, I'm an artist, I'm a cartoonist. I do so much stuff. But yeah, you can just find me everywhere at like, you can find me everywhere. I'm just at Harriana, HARRIYANA. And yeah, thank you to my lovely co-host. Go ahead and tell everybody who you are.
Hi, I'm Kayla, also known as Pink Shadow Ball on Instagram and TikTok. I mainly do cosplay and cosmaking, and I have quite a few costumes this weekend. I'm also over at the Harriana Hook table, and I'd love to talk to you guys about Miraculous Ladybug or cosplaying or any of that fun stuff. It was great having you guys here at the panel. You guys were awesome.
Like, part of the reason why I got a table is because I noticed when I do these panels, so many people want to talk to me afterwards, and I was like, you know what, let's go to the table out there and talk. And y'all can talk as long as you want, because they're going to run us out of here, and I'm going to get in trouble. So, thank you guys so much for coming. You were a great audience.
Thank you guys so much.
Thank you. That's it.
Enjoy the rest